Hello you, it's me. I hope you're okay. Today we're going to talk about The Library of the Unwritten by A.J. Hackwith. I bought this last year. I think it was out a bit before that in hardback. But it's one of those fantasies that, not unlike stuff like Strange the Dreamer, straddles the line and sort of could be considered YA by some. This book is about the librarian of the Unwritten Library, which is situated in hell and is a final or temporary resting place for unwritten books. The books are restless from connections with their author and possessing something of a spirit. They manifest themselves as characters from themselves, and it's the librarian's duty to track down and capture books that have escaped or woken up and left the library and stop them from interfering with their authors and events in the real world. On an excursion to bring one of these books back, the head librarian, Claire, becomes aware of a book that was written by Lucifer and sets about trying to procure it for the library so that it can't be used as a weapon. And in doing this, she gets tangled up in heavenly and hellish politics, as both realms try and fight to get the book for very different reasons. The story takes us on a journey through heaven, hell, and various other surprising afterlives, and really explores through characters who are characters, that human written books have enough poured into them that they sort of have what amounts to a soul, and that there really is no such thing as an insignificant story. Now, this book had Starless Sea vibes in a really big way, even thematically, even down to the lanky, male, pale main character who discovers an otherworldly library. I do feel like there's a bit of a trend in the last sort of 5 to 10 years of books about books, or books about the magical properties of books, especially in stuff like this that is so borderline YA. I do feel like this is a way better version of the Genevieve Cogman series, The Invisible Library, which is like this in that it shares a lot of themes, except that one was naff. I do love any book that explores afterlives as realms, not just ideas and their effect on the mortal world. Like really how a place such as heaven or hell would function, the physics, the rules, the power structures, the same way they're explored in stuff like Dante or Milton's Paradise Lost, or even Niven's Inferno. I do always think it's interesting watching people or reading people world build not from scratch. I mean, building their version of a world, of a place that is common in media and pop culture and society, and whether they're going to mix it up, make it fresh, or sort of play the traditionalist card. And it's interesting reading sort of iterations of these same places that, because it's such an ingrained thing, especially in Western culture, are all so wildly different, but really recognizable as hell or heaven. And I do think on the image side of it, the aesthetic side of it, this one, I feel like it really drew from a book called Inferno, not Dante's Inferno, but a sort of an art book / world building storybook by a guy called Wayne Barlow, who also wrote Expedition. So if you like sort of really non-Euclidean surrealist images of hell, but painted as a functioning realm, definitely check out that book because it's amazing and I cannot big that one up enough. I think one of the main themes of this story is unquestioningly following orders, that you never really know who you're working for, who you're allied with, and sometimes it is right and sensible to question what you are being asked to do. I like that this book is LGBTQ+ in a really casual way, in that it throws information out there about the characters in a sort of yeah but so way, which I think is how it's supposed to be. One thing I didn't really like was that every character was so sarcastic, like highly strung sarcastic the whole way through, and that the interaction between the characters was like meh, 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 sort of, and that sort of really wore me down. There were twists. There were quite a few twists. Some twists that I didn't see coming, genuinely. Some twists that I saw coming from a mile away, but were still fun twists to read. They didn't compromise the enjoyability of the story. Through the sort of first 2/3 of the book, there were enough loose ends that I could see them spiraling off and coming back in later books, and that being how you expand the rest of the story. I think this is a trilogy, or it's going to be a trilogy, because it feels like book 1 of 3. You know, sometimes when you can just tell. But everything was kind of resolved at the end, so I feel like this would actually work fine as a standalone, to be honest. There was one thing that was name dropped or mentioned very early on. Something called the Dust Wing or the Dust Library, and I feel like that's probably gonna be relevant in the future, but I'm not sure how the story's gonna continue. I do hope, though, that it's not separate adventures connected only by the characters featuring in them, and that there is some kind of overarching story of the series. I do wish they had kept some stuff off until later in the series. I mean, with the main character's sort of backstory being completely laid bare in the space of about a paragraph or two, I feel like we could have done with getting a bit more attached to Claire before we were like, blah, 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 here's all the information about Claire. Because it's like there's nothing left to explore with her. Okay. Bit of a rant. Now, this book does contain angels. And that's not a spoiler, but I'm always in a bit of a huff about angels. I watched Supernatural, and it just made me so sick of them. And it's obviously that series has influenced a lot of books that were written after it. And I feel like that show was good up until like season 5. And after that it was angel politics, angel politics, angel politics, angel politics. Just on repeat. So, as I expected, the angels in this were the most boring bit. I feel like there are a lot of interesting ways that an author could explore things like the heavenly hierarchies, and they don't. I also feel really kind of bummed out and betrayed when they just look human. Angels and demons are not human. They don't look human. And I mean, TV shows can kind of get away with it-ish. Because, I mean, at least they have a CGI makeup budget that they have to adhere to. And making an angel or a demon look human probably saves a hell of a lot of money. Come on, you're writing a book, so you have the power to give us all these like juicy descriptives, and you just... nobody does. I wish they'd stop using the excuse, because a lot of books do it. I wish they'd stop using the excuse, they have to look human because if you saw their true form, you'd go mad or your eyes would burn out. I feel like that's an excuse not to be inventive or creative. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion, but like, it's boring. Be fresh. One of the demons in this, he's mentioned early on, so again, it's not a spoiler, is Andras, who is one of the Goetic demons from the Lesser Key of Solomon. And I was really excited about straight away when his name was mentioned. I was like, oh, it's going to be great. And he's a Marquis of Hell, actually, not a Duke of Hell, A.J. Hackwith. So he's supposed to, the way he is described in the Lesser Key of Solomon, is that he has a winged body, the head of an owl or a raven. He rides a giant shaggy black wolf and carries a shining sword. Grady Hendrix used Andras, and he used him properly. This one was pants. Even there's a scene where he is riding into battle, and they could so have milked his full unleashed demon appearance that's finally revealed, but he rode into battle and he was just a eccentric man in a suit with pointy ears. come on. And it hurts especially when stuff like the libraries and other aspects of hell, like Walter, the gatekeeper, are just built and described so well. I don't know what people's issue is with demons and angels just being pants recently. Also, why do demons have pointy ears? I understand why some have horns and satyr legs, maybe as a callback to the church sort of demonizing paganism and Pan. So maybe it's like the church demonizing elves, or a residual thing from that. I'll have to do some Googling about that, because I feel like pointy ears bad is a kind of weird trope. Yeah, that's my little rant about this book. I just wish people would make angels and demons as scary as they deserve to be, because it's something that isn't explored and really could be amazing. Despite that angry sounding ear bashing, I did actually like this book. I will be interested to see where the rest of the series goes, so I'll give it 3 stars. I don't know the author from anywhere else, so I have a lot of hope in the series, but no expectations of the series and what's gonna come. Didn't blow my mind. Solid adventure, fun book, works well as a standalone. If the second book is better, and it connects to this one in a clever way, the rating for this one I feel like it might go up. So, yep, Library of the Unwritten, AJ Hackwith, 3 stars. If you've read it, let me know what you thought of it. Pop a comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. There's more coming, sci-fi, fantasy reviews, anything you'd like me to review. Pop it down in the comments. I'll try and get to it, stick it in my TBR. Hope you're doing good. Not great times in the world at the moment. Love each other, respect each other, listen to each other. I'll see you soon.